Around 20,000 years ago, during the vast, chilling sweep of the Ice Age, life for early humans was a delicate balance between the harsh cold and the fragile warmth of survival. Beneath pale skies stretched endless frozen landscapes, where every breath seemed to crystallize in the air, and dangers hid both from predators and the environment itself. In these ancient times, wounds were not simply injuries, they were urgent tests of endurance and care. When a rib crushed by an arrowhead was discovered in a cave in North Vietnam, it told a quiet story of pain and healing. The man bore that injury for months, likely enduring infection, yet lived beyond the initial trauma, suggesting he was not left to suffer alone. Evidence whispers of subtle care, covered wounds, sheltered rest, perhaps even the attentive watch of others in his group. This communal support was an unseen balm, a shared bond that softened the hardship of injury in a world without modern medicine. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the dim light of a fire crackling softly in a shelter, the gentle murmur of voices, and the protective presence of those who stood vigil. Such care may have been the silent healer of Ice Age communities. Archaeological finds, from embedded arrowheads to carefully arranged burials, reveal that resilience was a quiet dance, a patience with pain, a hope for recovery woven beneath the great Ice Age skies. As we drift deeper into the history of early humans, we find that even in the coldest epochs, warmth lived on in the shared acts of healing and survival, guiding the way into times yet to come. The shelter's embrace is a quiet refuge from the relentless chill of Ice Age winds. Imagine standing at the entrance of a cave, its mouth framed by ancient stone, offering a sanctuary from a world sculpted by frost and snow. Inside, the air softens, warmed by the gentle glow of a campfire whose flickering light dances on rugged walls. These natural shelters, or those fashioned from mammoth bones and hides, cocooned early humans not merely from the cold but from the deeper perils of exposure, frostbite and infections that could turn wounds fatal. Their ingenuity in choosing and shaping these spaces was a delicate art, crucial for healing aching, injured bodies. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the warmth softly enveloping a wounded warrior, the quiet hum of caregivers nearby, the protective shield of stone and hide outside. The shelter buffered biting winds, preserving heat in the faint spaces between cracks and fur. This microcosm of life, a tender moment paused in the harshness of Ice Age survival, was essential. The simple act of sheltering allowed broken limbs to mend, the immune system to fight off threats, and stories to pass from one generation to the next within safe walls. Across the rugged landscapes, shelters varied, caves chiseled by glaciers, clusters of bones picked clean and artfully arranged, hides stretched taut over wooden frames, each a testament to the enduring human spirit. And as the firelight dims and the cold seeps back, the shelter's embrace leads us quietly onward, deeper into the vast frozen past. In the gentle rhythm of prehistoric days, the sharp edges of stone tools held secrets beyond hunting and cutting. These early implements, shaped by patient hands, were also instruments of care, helping our ancestors tend to the fragility of their bodies. When flesh was torn or skin breached, a sharpened flake might have been carefully used to remove dirt or splinters from wounds, bringing a subtle kind of relief. Bundles of soft moss or fibres gathered from quiet forest floors could be wrapped tenderly to protect and soothe injured skin, much like a primitive bandage. The same hands that crafted spears and knives also learned to mend. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the hushed attentiveness as one member of a small group gently cleans and covers a friend's scrape, guided by the instinct to comfort and heal. These acts were not just practical but deeply human, early expressions of care and community woven with technology. Archaeological discoveries from sites like Shanidar Cave in Iraq hint at such compassionate behaviours linked to healing, showing that even tens of thousands of years ago, survival was intertwined with nurture. The tactile world of stone, plant, and careful touch opened a path where tools were not only weapons but promises of recovery. As the story of human ingenuity unfolds, these quiet innovations gently lead us deeper into the evolving relationship between people and their environments, where the very act of mending became part of living well. In the crisp shadows of the Ice Age, survival was not just about the hunt or the frostbitten winds, it was about the bonds woven through shared care. Anthropological traces reveal that even in ancient times, care stretched beyond the practical to the compassionate. When a member was injured, the group did not abandon them to the cold. Instead, they gathered close to offer shelter and warmth. Imagine a small band of early humans huddled in a cave, the firelight casting soft dancing glimmers on chiseled stone walls. A hunter with a wounded leg might rest on a pile of soft furs, tended by others who brought food or gently cleared away the snow. This quiet caregiving formed a gentle web of connection that was essential to their very survival. If you're listening to this at night, consider how these tender acts echo today, humanity's long history of kindness in the face of hardship. Food was shared not just out of necessity, but from a recognition that no one was left behind. This sense of community resilience stitched together lives against the relentless challenges of an unforgiving landscape. As tribes nurtured their weakest, they quietly shaped the future of human cooperation, where caring was as vital as hunting or crafting tools. With every shared warmth and meal, they were not just surviving the Ice Age, but sustaining something far deeper, the enduring family that every one of us carries within. The story gently moves onward, deeper into the lives lived long ago, and the bonds that held them close. In the quiet shadows of Ice Age woodlands, ancient humans moved with a tender purpose, gathering not only food, but also the subtle healing gifts of the wild. Among tangled roots and mossy stones, plants whispered promises of comfort. Bitter herbs to soothe aches, sticky tree resins to seal wounds, and leaves with antiseptic powers to guard against infection. These early medicine hunters, guided by the instinct and experience handed down like a soft current, wove nature's pharmacy into daily life. If you're listening to this at night, imagine hands gently plucking sprigs of yarrow or willow bark, the first whispers of aspirin, carefully cradled as sacred salves. Ethnobotanical studies bridging millennia reveal that similar plants serve as cures in traditional heritages across the world, a quiet thread linking the present to these primitive moments. While formal medicine as we know it would come much later, the Ice Age people's deep knowledge of their environment provided a subtle shield against hardship. Their stone tools and sharpened flakes were not only weapons or kitchen helpers, but also instruments in gathering and preparing these healing remedies. By tending to wounds with nature's gentle medicines, early humans fostered resilience, a calm defiance against the unpredictable wild. As we move forward, we will journey deeper into the evolving relationship between humans and the earth, where survival was a delicate balance, and every plant held a story of hope and healing. Healing is an ancient rhythm woven deep into the lives of early humans. When bones cracked or muscles tore beneath the weight of survival, the body called for a gentle pause, an intuitive balance between movement and stillness. Too much motion could worsen an injury, but too little might stall the slow knitting of flesh and bone. Prehistoric people likely sensed this delicate dance instinctively, curbing their steps and leaning on the support of their communities. Imagine a small band of neighbours softly gathering around the injured, easing their burdens through shared food, warmth, and watchful eyes. Movement was restricted, not as a burden, but as a careful strategy to mend and conserve strength. If you're listening to this at night, let your mind settle into the slow pulse of recovery, the quiet surrender of a body allowing rest to weave its healing magic. Natural immobilization, whether resting by the fire or held gently in a sling of animal hide, became an act of survival. Bones, once fractured, were shielded from stress, allowing nature's architecture to rebuild with steady patience. The environment, often harsh with cold winds or relentless sun, shaped these quiet rituals. In cold climates, limiting movement also meant preserving precious warmth, while in open savannas, rest might be stolen moments of safety after a painful fall or fight. Through the comforting rhythms of rest and care, early humans found resilience. Their subtle artistry in balancing motion and stillness laid groundwork not only for survival, but also for the complex social bonds that would carry them forward. As we drift deeper into their world, the harmony between restriction and movement reveals echoes of a timeless healing craft. Around the frozen world of the Ice Age, warmth was more than comfort. It was medicine. Imagine a quiet cave, where a flickering fire casts gentle shadows on stone walls. Here, an injured member of a small human group lies wrapped in thick animal furs, their breath rising in soft clouds mingling with the smoky warmth. This heat, tender and steady, fought the unseen chill of infection and the creeping danger of hypothermia, both silent adversaries in the cold wilderness. Archaeological finds suggest early humans understood this simple truth. Bones bearing signs of healed injuries hint that care was given, not just food and protection, but close body contact to share warmth. Ethnographic studies of traditional societies offer echoes of this ancient practice, holding, wrapping, and nestling the vulnerable close. If you're listening to this at night, allow your thoughts to settle into the soothing rhythm of shared warmth, the primal comfort that helped sustain life when the world outside was harsh and unyielding. The crackling fire became a silent nurse, its gentle glow more than just light in the dark. It was a safeguard, a balm applied through flickers of heat and the softness of furs. Even the simple act of pressing close to one another passed healing warmth from skin to skin, knitting bodies and spirits back together. As the night stretches on, this ancient ritual of care moves with us, leading quietly into further stories of survival and the subtle gifts of the Ice Age. The story etched in prehistoric bones speaks softly through the ages, revealing resilience and care long before the age of hospitals. Among the silent witnesses of ancient lives lie fossils bearing the marks of recovery, bones once broken, now healed, telling us that early humans endured injuries yet survived, aided perhaps by the compassion of their community. One of the most remarkable glimpses into this ancient care is found in the 140,000-year-old remains from Skull Cave, nestled on Mount Carmel in present-day Israel. Here, a child's skeleton shows not just survival after injury, but also the intricate processes of advanced healing. This child, identified as an Sully Homo sapiens with intertwining Neanderthal traits, reminds us how these primates lived through hardship, their bodies mending in time. If you were listening to this at night, imagine gently the care that may have been given, a shared warmth by a fire, tender touches, sustained nourishment that helped heal injury and pain in the dim light of ancient shelters. Though evidence is silent on specific acts of healing, the very presence of healed bones speaks to social bonds woven into survival. Scientific advances, like 3D micro-CT scans of fossils, reveal delicate details, the reshaping of bone tissue, the slow rebuilding of strength. These discoveries quietly blossom into a broader narrative, one where early humans and Neanderthals living side by side shared not only genes, but also acts of support. As the night deepens, so too we drift toward understanding the gentler rhythms of prehistoric life, where healing intertwined with survival, hinting at the emergence of empathy long before known history. In the soft light of early dusk, prehistoric groups gathered beneath wide open skies. Here, the sharing of food was more than survival. It was an ancient rhythm of connection. Meat from a successful hunt passed from hand to hand, tender and rich, while gathered roots and berries added earthy sweetness. The act of sharing nourished more than bodies. It wove invisible threads of trust and care among the group. When an injury slowed a hunter or gatherer, the kindness of others proved vital. Stories from sites like the Shanida Cave in Iraq show how severely wounded Neanderthals likely depended on such generosity to recover. Carefully offered meals, full of nourishing calories and gentle fats, helped heal wounds and restored strength. This quiet exchange of food built resilience no spear alone could provide. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the warmth of a community offering its bounty, a mutual promise that no one would be left behind. Around flickering fires, sharing created moments of comfort and kinship. The simple act of breaking bread, whether roasted meat or tuber, became a gesture of support and unity. These gatherings fostered cooperation that would echo through millennia, setting foundations for deeper social bonds. In the stillness under the stars, every shared meal was a gentle pulse in the heart of early humanity, nourishing body and spirit alike, as the journey of connection wound ever onward. Close to a gentle stream, early humans discovered more than just a source of thirst-quenching water. Their understanding of fresh water was a quiet treasure, a way to soothe and cleanse wounds that might otherwise become life-threatening. The simple act of washing a scratch or cut in the cool, clear flow carried an unspoken promise of healing, softening pain as it carried away dirt and danger. Imagine sitting beside the slow ripple of water, fingers dipped carefully into the soothing current. The sound of water, steady and calm, is a companion in this fragile moment of repair. Fresh water became part of a delicate ritual, intertwining with nature's cycles and human care. This connection to the liquid's life-giving power nurtured survival beyond mere drinking. If you're listening to this at night, let the image of this quiet communion wash over you, the steady murmur of flowing water mingling with deep breaths, marking the passage of healing days. Hydration too was essential, maintaining strength and supporting the body in its slow mending process amid the rhythms of the natural world. Early humans' ability to remember and return to reliable water sources likely shaped their journeys and choices during vulnerable times. This bond with the water was subtle yet profound, fostering resilience beneath the open skies. We drift now through this shared history, carried gently onward by the soft murmur of streams that whispered lessons in healing long ago. The gentle rustle of leaves and the soft murmur of a distant stream paint the backdrop for early humans navigating a world where invisible threats, microbes and infection lurked unseen. In these ancient times, there were no antiseptics, no modern medicine to turn to. Yet survival depended on something delicate, the care taken to keep wounds clean and bodies healthy. Early humans, keen observers of nature, likely used what was at hand, a rinse of water from a clear brook, or the careful removal of dirt and debris with sharpened sticks or smooth stones. These small acts, simple and deliberate, formed a fragile barrier between life and illness. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the quiet concentration as a member of a prehistoric group tends to a friend's injury. The cool water trickles over torn skin, washing away grit. Perhaps crushed leaves with mild antiseptic properties were rubbed gently to soothe and protect. Though literal evidence is scarce, the traces of such practices whisper through ancient bones and early tools, hinting at an understanding that cleanliness mattered deeply, even without knowing the microbes. This focus on hygiene, subtle though it was, shaped early human resilience. By cradling survival with care, these ancestral practices warded off infection's grasp, just as they kept communities thriving in wilderness and time. Slowly we drift toward earlier days of human ingenuity and life, where every discovery kindled more hope for tomorrow. In the hush of early evening, as the sun dipped behind ancient ridges, the presence of predators became an ever-nearing reality. Injury among early humans was not just a physical misfortune, but a deep vulnerability, often inviting the stealthy approach of large carnivores. Communities responded with heightened vigilance, weaving watchfulness into the very fabric of their nights. Among the flickering shadows cast by a communal fire, silent sentinels took their posts, their eyes reflecting cautious light. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the quiet rhythm of breaths, the subtle shifting of bodies thinned wrapped in skins as the group guarded those who could not move swiftly. The wounded rested near the centre, shielded by those whose senses never waned, watchful for any rustle or whisper from the dense surrounding brush. Hands steady and calm tended wounds, applying natural salves with gentle care. The bond of survival intertwined with trust, a shared vigilance that allowed each member, even in weakness, to remain part of the whole. This careful guardianship carried beyond mere protection. It fostered a profound respect, a recognition of every life's delicate strength. As the night deepened, the crackling fire stood as both beacon and barrier, yet it was the watchful gaze of the group that truly guarded their fragile sanctuary. Together, they created a harmony between vulnerability and safety, an ancient dance of life preserved through empathy and steadfast courage. Here, in these quiet moments, the slow, steady beat of survival carried humanity onward, deeper into the unfolding story of existence. The Ice Age whispered through ancient landscapes, its frozen breath settling thickly on exposed skin and bone. Among these vast, icy expanses, frostbite was a silent, insidious threat, numbing flesh and darkening fingertips, a slow reminder of nature's quiet cruelty. Early humans, so deeply connected to their surroundings, learned to listen to these subtle warnings etched by winter's hand. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the soft crunch of snow beneath cautious footsteps as a small group moves steadily, muscles warm from motion. Movement was not just survival, but a shield against cold's creeping grasp. In icy winds, they covered exposed skin with layers of animal hide, crafted from the prey their ancestors hunted. Shelter was no mere refuge. It was a haven where warmth seeped into tired limbs, where the hearth's glow chased shadows of the cold away. This intimate dance with frost and chill carved out new wisdom. Early humans recognized how stillness invited injury, while steady activity and clever protection staved it off. Their bodies bore scars, yes, but so did their hearts carry the memories of learned care and resilience. Quiet acts like warming fingers by a fire, adjusting fur garments, or wrapping a frost-nipped hand spoke of deep knowledge, born from countless seasons of icy trial. This chapter reveals that understanding, a gentle testament to human adaptation and the tender relationship we have always shared with the Earth's breath, cold and whispering. From the quiet intimacy of cold injuries, we now drift further into the wide, unfolding story of early human endurance. Long before modern medicine, our ancestors faced wounds and aches with only nature's gifts and their own calm presence. In early human communities, managing pain was a vital skill, one that combined observation, herbal wisdom, and quiet ritual to soothe the body and mind. Imagine a small group gathered around a flickering fire under a vast, star-studded sky. The firelight casts soft shadows on faces, and the warm smoke curls gently upwards. Beyond providing warmth, this ritual fire may have offered a kind of healing comfort, a balm for pain not unlike today's quiet moments beside a glowing hearth. Pain relief in those days often came from bitter herbs, like the precursors of clove oil, known much later for its soothing eugenol compound. Ancient people might have chewed these plants to dull toothaches or muscle soreness, harnessing their natural anesthetic and anti-inflammatory effects without understanding the chemistry behind them. If you're listening to this at night, take a slow, calming breath and let yourself drift into the gentle rhythms of these early healing practices. The power of quiet, gathered community, the steady heartbeat of ritual, and the medicinal sense of smoke could help ease pain, inviting calm and resilience. Though the remedies were humble, they bridged the human body to the natural world, guiding early humans through their most vulnerable moments. As you settle deeper, the ancient wisdom of pain management kindles a story of continuity, one that threads softly into the evolving tapestry of human survival. Around the frozen edges of the Ice Age world, life followed a tender, steady rhythm. The seasons came and went like a quiet tide, shaping the days and nights of early humans in subtle but profound ways. As snow blanketed the land in winter's chill, healing wounds or recovering from injury grew harder, with cold winds slowing the body's natural mending. But when spring arrived, thawing the frozen earth and coaxing life from frozen branches, warmth and gentle sunlight to encourage recovery. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the soft glow of a crackling fire under the long evenings as families rested together, their bodies slowly knitting resilience back into their muscles and skin. Warm months brought fresh plants, nourishing meals, and calmer days for healing, while the biting cold of winter demanded caution, rest, and endurance through lean times. Early humans learned to flow with these natural cycles. They timed hunts to follow the rhythms of migrating herds and moved their camps with the turning of the seasons, weaving their lives with the pulse of the world around them. This delicate dance with nature's tempo was not just survival, it was an ancient art of recovery, whispered across generations of shared understanding. As the breath of time moved softly on, so too did the healing hands of life, nurturing the fragile body back to strength with the promise of longer days and warmer suns. Let yourself drift now into this gentle, endless movement, where season follows season, shaping the quiet story of human resilience. In the quiet depths of prehistoric caves, faint images run along rough stone walls, symbols of a world that stretched beyond immediate survival, whispering a connection to forces unseen. Early humans, facing the harshness of nature and the fragility of life, found more than just physical remedies for injury and illness. They engaged in rituals that intertwined healing with beliefs, a tender weaving of the spiritual and the corporeal. Burial sites from ancient times gently tell us about these ceremonies. Bodies laid in thoughtful arrangements, sometimes with offerings of tools or pigments, suggesting reverence for those who have struggled through pain. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the flickering glow of a fire, the careful hands tending wounds, the soft murmur of chants, and the shared breath of a community holding their injured close. These primitive ceremonies may have eased suffering not only of the body but of the spirit, nurturing hope and solidarity among early people. Fossil evidence, such as healed injuries, hints that care was given long enough for recovery, and the symbolic acts recorded in cave art show a profound respect for life's delicate balance. These moments, wrapped in ritual and meaning, reflect an early human desire to make sense of vulnerability, to summon strength from nature, and to honour the endurance of one another. In this quiet, sacred space, the ancient cycle of healing begins to unfold, drawing us gently onward into the depths of human history and the mysteries still etched into stone and memory. Step softly into a twilight world where Neanderthals lived alongside early modern humans, moving carefully through shadowy caves and misty forests. Here, fossils tell stories not just of survival, but of care, a fragile tenderness hidden in the bones of those who came before us. One remarkable fossil, a child's skull found in Israel's School Cave, reveals healed injuries and features blending both Neanderthal and Homo sapiens traits, hinting at deep connections across human family lines. This child's survival beyond wounds shows that others must have tended and cared for them, offering help over many years of healing and growth. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the quiet warmth of a small group, gathering close to soothe the pain of an injured member. The Neanderthals' adaptive strategies were not solely about tools or hunting. They also reflect a profound empathy, an early web of social support woven quietly long before history's first pages were written. This care meant more than kindness. It ensured survival in harsh landscapes where every day was a challenge. Bones found across Europe and the Middle East speak of lives bound by mutual help. Neanderthals, once thought to be brutish and solitary, emerge here as close cousins with surprising emotional depth. Their lessons in care quietly echo across time, reminding us that humanity's compassion is ancient, rooted in a shared past. And so we drift onward, deeper into the stories our ancestors left etched in stone and bone, continuing the gentle journey through time. The campfire's warm glow pulses softly in the stillness of a prehistoric evening, its flickering embers casting long, gentle shadows against rugged rocks and worn earth. Fire was not simply a source of heat for early humans. Its presence brought subtle, profound comforts that went far beyond survival. As dusk deepened, the smoke curling upward had created an invisible shield, helping to deter the persistent hum of insects that could carry disease or irritate open wounds. The delicate dance of flame and smoke wove a protective veil, a barrier against unseen nuisances. Around the fire, a wounded hand might be held close to the warmth, not just to soothe pain, but as part of a quiet ritual of healing and hope. The soft crackle of wood and the fire's flicker offered a psychological balm, an assurance that danger was kept at bay, and that the night held not only shadows, but a flicker of safety. If you're listening to this at night, you might imagine yourself beneath a wide starry sky, the fire's steady glow a comforting presence beside you. Early humans discovered that smoke and heat helped dry wounds and possibly reduced infection. Although these insights came over countless nights of trial and care, this gentle mastery of fire hinted at something larger, a companionship with this element, a partner in the slow, tender work of healing. The fire's pulse lingered as the night stretched onward, a soft beacon guiding human hands and hearts toward recovery. Drifting onward, these ancient fires illuminated the unfolding human journey, one marked by resilience, care, and the quiet sparks of hope amid the dark. The air carries a quiet stillness as you imagine the slow healing of an early human wound, a process that stretched over weeks, sometimes months, in a world without medicine or modern comforts. Months of gentle recovery demanded not only time, but an extraordinary patience, a delicate balance between gathering food, watching for danger, and caring for the injured. If you're listening to this at night, picture the calm determination of a caregiver, softly supporting someone weakened by injury. The group's survival did not rest solely on speed or strength, but on their remarkable adaptability and quiet resilience, woven deeply into their way of life. This slow journey back to strength was a testament to cooperation long before the word was spoken, a trust that injury was temporary, and healing a shared hope. Archaeological remains from places like Shanidar Cave in Iraq reveal evidence of individuals surviving despite serious trauma, their healed bones telling stories of care and nurturing. Such stories whisper through generations, showing how early humans embraced vulnerability as a part of survival, their patience marking a profound step in social evolution. The rhythms of recovery, resting, gentle movement, and watchful eyes became opportunities to learn, to teach, and to strengthen bonds within the group. As the injured grew stronger, the community quietly adapted once again, moving forwards together into the unfolding chapters of human endurance and care. Around 20,000 years ago, during the heart of the last ice age, vast glaciers carved silent valleys and endless tundras stretched under wide, pale skies. Life was a delicate balance. where every breath taken was a quiet triumph over the frost and shadows. In these harsh lands, the earliest humans faced wounds and illness without the comforts of modern medicine. Their survival depended on more than strength. It was grounded in a deep trust within their groups, shared care, and an instinctive connection to the environment around them. If you're listening to this at night, imagine the calm exchange of warmth among small clusters of people, tending to each other's injuries with herbs, touch, and quiet encouragement. Pain was met with gentle hands and the steady rhythm of community, a silent language of support that transcended words and wove itself into human nature. The fossils and footprints left behind tell stories of this resilience, of bones that healed despite sharp edges and frostbitten nights. This quiet endurance shaped more than survival. It is the thread that links us through time. As you let your thoughts wander softly through this ancient wilderness, know that the courage and kindness of Ice Age survivors live within you. Their legacy is the foundation of compassion and strength that gently guides human history forward. Drifting further into the unfolding story of our ancestors, we touch the dawn of new lands and ideas, where warmth once again begins to rise.